where we keep it real and we keep the editing down to a bare minimum. That being said, today we are going to be making my German Grands potato salad, which I absolutely love. Now, if you're not a fan of fruit with savoury stuff, this might not be for you, but I urge you to give it a go. Right, I've done a bit of cheating. I've already started prepping the water, so that is going to start boiling quite nicely. Right, let's get started. So all we need is potatoes, mayonnaise, again, big theme on mayonnaise at the minute, salt and pepper, an apple and some tatties. Now there is approximately 1.2 kilos of potatoes there. I've got them from the market, so they are proper fresh, local produce from here in the Charente, and I love using the local produce. It is amazing, and now this time of year as well, it's in abundance. Right, this thing here has absolutely no bearing at all to do with the recipe. However, I'm sure you can recognise it. They come in different colours and different sizes and shapes. This is a packet that meat was in. Now, I keep some of these because they make fantastic containers for putting all your vegetable cuttings and stuff in. So, use the cutting board to cut, use that to get your peels, and then you can put it on the compost heap, as you do in France. So, our water is boiling up nicely. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take that off for a minute, because I haven't cheated that much and got all these tatties ready. However, right, so I am going to peel these because I'm making this potato salad for a group and I'm not sure if everybody likes the skins on. So, obviously skins on is a lot more healthy, but for today I am going to take skins off. Right. So, these are locally grown potatoes on a little market stall in the village of Villefagnan. It's a market on a Tuesday, and I had to go to the post office. So while I was there, the market was there, and I just popped in and I thought, right, I'll get some local produce, and I got some cracking tomatoes. Really different coloured ones, different shaped ones, because I'm also going to make a mixed salad with that, and I'll show you how I make my cream dressing. Yes, I said it, cream dressing. And it's absolutely fine, and it's great, and it tastes amazing. But that's another time. Today we are making this potato salad. So this is my German Grands recipe, and I've known this as a kid, and since once I started learning to cook, this is how I made it. And for everybody that's tried it, nobody said they didn't like it. And the fruit, i.e. the apple, does give it a little lift, and it works really, really well. So, like I said before, if you're not a fan of fruit in food, please just give it a go. If you don't like it, guess what? You can take the bits out and you still have a potato salad. So, maybe I should have done this earlier. Never mind. Right. So, as we're doing this, let me just tell you once again, if you've seen me making coleslaw, you'll know the little trick that I do in terms of the seasoning and the mayo. But in this instance, because it takes a little bit of time for the potatoes to cook, I want to do those first. Normally I'd have these done, but obviously I've been a bit slack and I haven't done it. So let's talk about the Charente. For those of you that know this area, it's called the Second Riviera because it is, apart from the Riviera, it has the most sunshine in France in terms of hours of sunshine. And this year it has been particularly hot. It got up to, I think it was about 42 degrees, I believe, and believe you me, that was a meltdown. So that was extreme even for here. So if you like the sun and you like the heat, then this is the place for you. If you don't, you might want to think about living somewhere else. However, generally speaking, it doesn't really go above 30 odd. So today we've been cruising around about 29. It started off a little bit overcast. The clouds were sort of pulling in a little bit, but it's turned out, as my dad used to say, turned out nice again. And it did. So, what can you do here? Well, there's lots. Where I am is approximately 45 minutes away from Cognac. Excuse me, I'm just concentrating on not cutting my fingers off. So for those of you who like a brandy or a Cognac, and there is a difference, I believe, that's just up the road, so that's worth a trip. What's interesting about Cognac, when you walk around there, all the houses have black on them, and that black is the residue when they're making the alcohol that floats through the air, and locally they call it the angel's share. So there you go. There's a little bit of doodah about Cognac. Right, good. Forgot how tedious it is peeling potatoes. Never mind. Some of that's got to be done, and we do it with gusto. And this is not my favourite peeler, hence it does take a bit of time. Right, I need to get this, tap these in the water. That's about just over a kilo there. Right, top tip. When I make potato salad, I do it so that the potatoes are cut into bite-sized chunks. And the reason I do that is, one, they cook faster, and two, you don't have to mess around after they've been cooked. So, your bite-sized chunks might be different to mine. You just make them as big as you think people want them. And as a rule of thumb, you don't want them too small either, because then you will generally find that they will turn to mush. And believe you me, you do not want a mashed potato salad. It's a no-go, it's a no-no. So, just do your thing, just like that. Right, I'm running out of space already. Well, never mind. Oh, yeah, cheers. Should be like Keith Floyd. You remember Keith Floyd? I used to love watching Keith Floyd as a kid. He was a great inspiration of mine. I loved him. What a bloke. Legend, absolute legend. And I remember he was in Spain, in a vineyard, or it might have been Italy, I don't know where he was. But he was on his bicycle. And he was cooking away, and he turned around and he got a bottle of wine, and he said, I love cooking with wine. He said, and sometimes I even like putting it in the food. And he took a big swig, and he'd done what he was doing, and when he finished, he got his wine bottle, you know, on a bicycle, he got the water bottle holder in the front, he put his wine bottle in there and toddled off. I thought, man, that man is a legend. He is my hero. I love Keith Floyd. What a loss. But he'd done so much for the world of cooking, and really, really showcased what can be done. Yeah, he's cooked on boats and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I digress. Right, so tatties are getting, what's nice about having a marble slab is you can put heat on it. All right, this is, you got to be careful when you're doing this because your water's hot. You want to avoid splash if you can. I mean, you can, I've done it in the past. It's not perfect, but I have actually put the potatoes in, then boil the water. But you've got to do that pretty much straight away because if not, your tatties tend to soak up too much water. It's always the 3/4 full on the pan. Ugh. And this one is just be a bit rough and ready. Don't be shy, your mother wasn't. This one here is going to overflow, so I'm going to have to tip a bit out, but that's easy because guess what? We have a sink. Splish. Out you go. Out. I just had a splash back there. There's been a knob. But like we said, anything that goes wrong stays in. So there you go. This was vegan, so I'm going to do this one in 3. And shaped like bananas, aren't they? I was going to do like a chip experiment, but I thought I'll make potato salad with these because I bet they're going to taste amazing. Right, if you've seen the video where I make the coleslaw, you will know what I'm about to say next. 24 hours, that's the golden rule between making and eating, because you want the flavours to draw, and it will make a massive difference in terms of flavours and stuff. You know something, what I'm going to do is I am going to actually put these in as well. So that's going to be 1.2 kilos. Yeah, what did I buy at the market? I bought these. So 1.2 kilos of tatties. 3 of those tomatoes I mentioned, the different coloured ones, yellow one, sort of burgundy one, and a sort of hybrid between the two, I think it is. I bought some apples, I bought, I can't even remember what I bought, a cucumber, just a little one, and some peppers and some other stuff, and the whole lot came to €9.40 or something. And yeah, it's a bit more expensive than going to the supermarket and that, but yeah, so I'd rather pay the extra for the freshness. So there we go. There's me last tatty to be done. And then once we get the potatoes on the go, we'll go through the rest of it. I might do a bit of editing on this. I might just speed a little bit up. However, I might not. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get these in and get the tatties on, and then that's it. Job's done. So don't worry if your sizes aren't exactly exact. Exactly exact. Is that what you say? Could be. Well, it is now. It is when Mark does it. Anyway, you want to cook them just a bit less than when you're making a boiled potato. And the reason for that is once they come out, because you want to keep them, I've lost one. You want to keep them a bit warm, which I'll show you when we get to that stage. And the reason for that is to do with the mayonnaise. So now we've got them in there, finally, let's get them on the heat. Pick up our little lonely boy and get him away. Right, like I said, we're going to have apple and that in here. So whenever I'm using mayonnaise, exit stage right. The first thing I do is I always prep and season my mayo. The reason I do that is it gives it time to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's a bit hanging on the side there, so I'll leave that. 4 and a bit. Can always put more in. We'll see what it's like. So, now add your seasoning. Some salt. And some pepper. Does that look like a lot to you? Personally, for me, my seasoning, the way I do it to get the flavour that I like my mayo to have distinctive speckles in it. Oh, here's the thing about potato salad as well. I'm going to put a bit more in there actually. Yeah, on the seasoning, be wary. You can always add, but you can't take out. So make sure you do it to your taste. If you're not sure, go less, because you can always taste test and adjust when you come to it. Okay? So I like mine, once I see the speckles, just like that. You see the speckles in there? Once you see the speckles, that for me is spot on. So I'm happy with that. So that can just sit over there. Put a lid on it for the flies. We might need that again. Right, so now we come down to it. And this is the other part which is important, especially when you're working with apples. Apples go, as you know, and if you don't know, they do go brown very, very quickly. So this is another top tip. Get your tatties on the go because they take the longest. That gives you time to sort out your apple, sort out your mayo mix. Now, like I said, do your mayo mix first because you're going to need it for this phase. So, un apfel. Pomme de terre. No, it's not. That's a potato. What am I talking? I'm talking crap. This is a pomme. The pomme de terre is a potato. So, get rid of the bits that we don't like eating. The piffy bits. And be careful on this. Tend to be wielding this knife around like an axe-wielding maniac. Right, so once you get your potato done, make it into like quite small chunks. Because you don't want them as big, you don't want the apple chunks as big as the potato, because the apple is there to enhance the flavour, not be the star attraction. Alright, so, and don't be scared on this as well. Have some that look a bit bigger, make some a bit smaller. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Don't worry about making a mess, because guess what? We can clean up. And we should clean up. So, has anybody else out there got a potato recipe? Now, I know in Germany they put, excuse me, that's the pepper floating about. In Germany they put gherkins in, some ham, boiled eggs. There's regional takes on the potato salad, let's put it that way. So, but my gran, I don't know where she got this recipe from, or if it's been passed down the family line. All I know is that this is how she made it. So for me, it's the family recipe. Like I said, don't be shy. Make some of them a bit smaller, make some a bit chunkier, because this is not the star of the show. This is an enhancer. So be wary of your knives and that when you're flying about, because they are sharp. Well, they should be sharp. Trying to work with a blunt knife is, well, it's not very productive. Let's put it that way. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Yeah, I love doing this stuff. I love cooking. Cooking should be fun. It shouldn't be so mundane. It shouldn't be so set in stone. I mean, of course, there are things that you need to adhere to and you need to do. However, we can make it. Everybody can do this. Everybody can make a mess, and I'm very good at that. But I'm also very good at cleaning it up. So once again, just be a bit random, just like that. So there you go. There's our. Put you to the side because we might not need you, George. Just watch that bubbling over. So just to make it a little bit more obvious for you, there's the sort of sizes. So. Little diddy chunks, little cubes. Alright, once we've done that, what we do is we get our mayonnaise concoction, and what we do is we whack the apple in, and then we make sure you coat the apple, okay? Make sure all the apple pieces are coated in the mayo mixture. And the reason for that is it stops it going brown. So now, I've already realised I'm going to need more mayo in this. And there's 1.2 kilos of potatoes, so there will be quite a bit of mayonnaise ongoing. So let me get another spoon. And while I'm there, using said spoon, give it a thing. Okay, not quite there yet, but it's one thing you got to do is make sure you keep an eye on your potatoes, right? Because honestly, when you cut them smaller, they cook a lot faster, and if you miss it, they will turn into mashed potatoes, and you don't want that. Alright, so I'm going to say that's about the size of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that there just in case. Right, and this is the other top tip. Every time you put some extra mayo in, ensure you put more seasoning with it. So basically pretend you're starting again. However, the one thing I will advise is don't put as much salt in as the first time. You won't need it. Now I do salt my potatoes when I cook them, so bear that in mind as well. If you do the same, and just be wary of that. Right, so give that another mix up. Get it mixed in with the first lot. Okay, that's looking good. It's a nice speckliness about it. And that there is now ready for the star of the show, which is actually the potato. Oh. Pepper's spinning around, whizzing around my nozzle. Right, so how are these tatties doing? Let's have a look. Yeah. I'm not quite there yet. Of course, I've used that spoon now, haven't I? So I'm going to have to get another one. Well, that's cool. Have spoons, use them. Right, these won't take long at all. If you remember, I said they will cook a bit after they've been cooked, because we're not going to cook them till they're like boiled potatoes soft. It's just the step before that where we want them to be, and the reason for that is we will rinse them off under cold water, but we will keep them warm, and then we will add them to the mayonnaise, and the warmth of the potatoes will liquefy the mayonnaise a bit more, and it sort of kind of adds to the flavouring. And here's another thing: everybody that I know thinks you only have to, or that you can only eat potato salad cold. You can heat it up. My mum does it all the time. She has hot potato salad, especially at a barbecue or something. You know, you'll always see somebody running in the house with a plate of potato salad, putting it in the microwave for a minute or so just to heat it up for my mum, because bless her, it's always too cold. So don't be afraid of eating it hot, because you certainly can do that. Traditional German way of eating potato salad is with schnitzel, and another way of doing it. In fact, actually on German Christmas Day on the 24th, it was a tradition. I don't know if it's still done now. Well, traditionally you had Kartoffelsalat, which is potato salad, and Bockwurst. And Bockwurst is basically what you know as a hot dog or a Frankfurter. So it's a boiled sausage. And you have that with potato salad, traditionally. Whether that is still the case or not, I don't know. Right, I'm going to call that done. In fact, let's get a little teeny weeny one. Give him a stab, if you let me. Get him out. Scaramouche, do the fandango. Almost. So let's give it, another minute? I hope you're still with me on this. Tell you what, I've not had those potatoes before. What a flavour. Absolutely stunning. Delicious. So, I think the moral of the story is, if you can get fresh local, do it. And I think that's one of the nice things about France. Like everywhere, prices have gone up, but food is such a way of life here. Everything is still, I don't know, it kind of makes sense. You know, everything's within range. It's not like in the UK where you feel like you're having your eyes pulled out your face when you buy a packet of bacon or something, you know. Right, just had a technical glitch here, guys. Apparently I reached the maximum of my recording time, which means that this is going to be over half an hour long, so I do apologise. But like I said, there's no editing. This is just add on to the last bit. So if you only heard half of what I was saying, I can't even remember what I was saying, so I do apologise. It was about the potatoes, I know that. Right, guys, I'm going to call them done, because otherwise they will turn into mashed potatoes, and we do not want mashed potatoes. So stand back, be careful of splashes. I'm going to get them in the sieve. Job done, they're all in, and let's put that off the hot one. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give them a rinse, because don't forget, like I said, I still want to keep them warm. I don't want them piping hot, but I want them warm. So, am I in shot? I'm not in shot. I'm in shot this side. So, just give them a rinse, give them a shake, give them a touchy-feely. And see where they're at. They're still cooking. Right, this tap here, I hate this tap because it doesn't swivel left and right, but it is on a what do you call it, a hose, but the tap itself is fixed. I just don't get it. Anyway, that's something we can address later. Okay, now this is important. You don't want any excess water, so make sure you give them a good drain, and a couple of them are escaping. Right, I'm gonna call that it. Okay, right, this next bit is also equally important. Put some potatoes in. And then just gently fold them in. If you start mixing up too crazy, once again, you'll just start making mash. And you want chunks of potato. I mean, obviously everything's turning white, but they've got a lovely yellow tinge to them, these. Like potatoes should. For those that remember what potatoes used to look like. So once again, just keep folding them in. You'll feel they are still warm, and you probably notice as well at this stage that the mayonnaise is becoming a little thinner due to the heat, but that's fine, because that's exactly what we want. And the other good thing about that is, apologies for that, I've got the oldest fridge freezer on the planet in this kitchen at the minute, and every now and again it just has an epileptic fit, and it also spurts water out on the floor. So in this kitchen you've got to kind of walk around with your eyes down to make sure that you're not going to break your neck, but that's what it is at the minute. Right, the last potatoes, don't tip them in, try and sort of scoop them in, because you'll find there'll always be a bit of water still in the bottom of your sieve. So we want it to stay in there. We don't want the water in here, because the mayo's turning liquid enough. And so I'm folding it as much as I can. So just scoop under, lift and tip, but just try and get every piece of potato with get some mayonnaise on it. I mean, when it's cool, and this is going to be ready tomorrow because it's the 24-hour rule, that would be the time when, I mean, at the minute now, for me, there's enough mayonnaise on there. I don't think it needs any more. But everything's got to cool down yet. and it might need another dollop. But you can be the judge of that. Some people don't like it very mayo-y, mayonnaise-y, mayonnaise. Remember that? Top Gun. No, it wasn't. Officer and a Gentleman, not Tom. Sorry, Tom. Richard Giros. Right. So, at the end, your potato salad will look just like that. Now, isn't that lush? Isn't that lush? Lovely jubbly, dead easy. All right, it's taken about half an hour-ish, a little bit more. But it's worth the effort. And again, just put that somewhere where it can cool down. Right, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Hope you enjoyed that.